Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janet Ubeji. I'm married with 3 kids. I have 14-year-old, 12-year-old and 7-year-old, and in 2 months my 14-year-old will be 15. Next month my 12-year-old will be 13, and next year few months time my 7-year-old will be 8-year-old. So body idea. So I'm gonna tell you guys, I have 2 teenage daughters and I have my 7-year-old son. So I'm here to share with you guys some of my experience with registered nanny. I have so many. I'm going to be sharing my experience with living nanny, live out nanny, all that I'm going to share, but they're going to be in separate video. But today I'm here to share with you guys my experience with a registered nanny in those days. And those of you that you have a registered minder that you take your kids, that your kids are happy there, no wahala, this video might not be for you. But those of you that you are a young mom, or you just give birth and you are planning going back to work and you are looking for a nanny, registered nanny to be taking your kids, you know, and this video might help you and tell you what to do. And also I also have experience with nursery, but I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just going to focus on the register minder. Those of you that, excuse me, you're young parents and you want to go back to work and you're looking for a register minder. Okay, I have a was minder, like register minder. And I tell you guys, sometimes we parents always think that when you have a register minder, you kind of have more peace of mind than someone that is not registered. And sometimes it's not always true. Sometimes it's not always true at all. Sometimes, let me tell you guys, sometimes is when you have someone that is not even registered, you even have peace of mind than someone that is even registered. Because I'm talking from both experience, okay? Like, I have a lady, she's not a registered minder, and she look after my kid for me, and up to today I would recommend her just like that. Just like that, I would recommend her, because she's not a registered minder. She just do it and she's fine. But now I don't think she'll do it anymore, because she starts work as well. So I don't think she'll have time to look after any kids. But just to let you know the reference I'm giving her, that she's a good person. This auntie, she's from Jamaica and she's so good. I know, guys, she's so good. But the registered minder that I know, that I thought because they are registered, they are professional, they know the right thing to do. Okay, so let me tell you one of my experience with registered minder. So what happened was, how did I start getting the registered minder and things like that? So what happened was, before I had my first child, I was in a college. Most of you might know my story already here, but I'm going to share more in future coming. Sorry, my English is not my first language, so you guys might be thinking, okay, that English is not kind of adding up. Okay, I'm learning. Okay, we are all learning, but you guys try to make it the way you understand it. So before I had my first child, I was in college learning 1 + 1, 2 + 2, how to spell my name. Yes, it's not like I'm doing a course or I'm doing a university degree or something. Yes, let me just tell you everything so you guys know. So during that time, I was with my husband there. Okay, during the time I started, that's when blah 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 blah. I'm not here to say my fairy tale story. Anyway, so I got pregnant when I was in college. It's not like a surprise, okay? I knew we were ready. I want to have a baby and all kind of that. So we got pregnant and I had my child. And my husband was like, okay, before we have another baby, at least that one will be, our first will be at least 5. In my mind, I'm like, 5? Like, seriously? Me, I don't want to waste time. Or maybe by the time my daughter will be 3, I'm pushing another baby out. I didn't say it out. In my own mind, I'm saying that too. Okay, so actually God have another plan for us. Okay, so when I have to stop college, of course, and I gave birth to my daughter, and a year later I find out I was pregnant again. That pregnancy wasn't planned, which is my 13, which was my 12-year-old. Now she'll be 13 in next month. So I find out I was pregnant. Meanwhile, when I had my first daughter, after she was like a year, no, after she was like 11 months, I went back to college, and then that's when I find out a month later, 2 months later, that was pregnant. Anyway, because my first child, she's still young. I don't think, if that pregnancy wasn't a mistake, I don't think that was the right time I was ready to be pregnant again, you know. So anyway, I got pregnant. I was excited, I was happy, I was crying, everything. That was, one minute I'm happy, the other minute I'm sad, the other minute I'm like, so a lot of drama. Anyway, so I gave birth to my daughter. So there are two. So I have 2 daughters and 1 son, okay? So when I gave birth to my second daughter, it was just too much for me. And then I wasn't working, I was at home. I wasn't working at all. I was just home looking after these kids because I had just had a baby and I had a toddler. It was not easy. It's just like, oh my days. Okay, so when I'm going shopping, and my 2-year-old going to 2, because she was 23 months when I had my second daughter. Okay, my first daughter was 23 months. So when I'm going, and so she can't really walk properly, you know, she's not, so I have to get, you know, those buggy that, I think those days, I don't think parents still have it. I think they've upgraded it now, but there's something that you put at the back of the buggy that your child can stand on it. So my child always stand on it and will be going. Then I realized that if it's a long walk, her leg is always aching her, even though she doesn't tell me. I can, you know, when your child, you just know, as a good mother, you just know everything about your toddler and things like that. Her leg is always aching her. So I don't know how I can have a double trolley so she can be able to sit down as well. So I started looking for minder, register minder. I looked for, I think it was a yellow page. I started looking for register minder near my area, just for me, that when I'm going shopping or when I have appointment with the baby, she will be going to the minder, or the baby. Sometimes, because I gave birth to my daughter in December, they are all cold babies, January, December. So I'm like, when I'm going shopping and the weather is so cold, I will take the toddler and the baby will go to minder, because I can't deal with 2 babies, 1 toddler, 1 baby, pushing, waiting for buses. Then I can't drive. So I look for this register minder and I find her, and she was only 10 minutes walk away from my house, and I was so happy. I'm like, wow. So I register, and she said, and this was about, this is about 12, almost 13 years ago. So I register, and she said she charged £7 per hour. Okay, I said no problem. And she said the minimum hour that my child can stay is 15 minutes, is 3 hours, because she will just make me understand that she work from 8 to 6:30, she said, but the minimum little time, because she just explained that you can't bring your child now and come back in 1 hour and say you want your child. If you come in 1 hour that you want your child, you still have to pay me 15, you still have to pay me 3 hours, because the minimum is 3 hours. I said, okay, no problem. So anytime I'm going shopping, I always, I always make sure I have that plan. Anytime I'm going shopping, and maybe the weather is too cold and I don't want to take, normally most of the time I prefer her to have the baby, because the baby will be there in case the baby messes herself. She'll be feeding the baby milk, so me and my toddler will just go. So and I discovered that most of the time when my child goes, she doesn't feed my child. So one particular day, I was going shopping, and normally I shop at least maybe twice, I won't say every week, maybe 3 times in a month. Yes, because I buy everything. I buy a lot of, so it's not like my child go there every single day. No. I'm not working. I was on benefit then. In fact, my husband wasn't earning that much. We're young couples, so I always make sure that money, that 3 hours money, I have it aside anytime I need that service. So this particular day, I told her, okay. And then what happened? She drives, so she can also drop your child for you if you don't if you cannot come, or you can also call her, she'll come and pick your child, which meanwhile me, I didn't know. I didn't know, because I really suffered that day. Like, I went shopping and I took the shopping home, then it was, you know, it was like snow raining, then I have to go to her. I'm like, and I was so tired, I was exhausted, I was so much in pain. And then I told her that it wasn't easy. She was like, you should have called me to drop her. I said, oh, I didn't know. So if you're a minder, just give a correct information to the mom. Oh, I can also drop, I can also pick, you know, don't just halfway then you say, oh, this. So I said, I don't even mind to pay her extra. I think you have to pay her extra to drop your child, but for me, she said she won't charge me because we only live 10 minutes apart. If she drive, maybe I don't know how many seconds it will take her, because with work, when I work, it's only 10 minutes walk from my house, 10-15 minutes walk, honestly. So she doesn't charge me. She just say, don't worry, I'll drop her. So she do that for me. So this particular day, I was going out and I called her to come and pick my child. So I think my daughter was 4 months old. So I gave her milk in the morning. Normally when she wake up, she have milk, and after milk, maybe later, maybe around 10, she can have another milk with ground rice. Before around maybe 11, I'll make her food and give her. So I was going shopping, and it's gonna be a long day for me. I think that day I told her to come and pick my child around 8, and I said I won't be. She'll drop her around 1. I won't be home till 1. My plan was, when I go shopping, I come back, I settle, I wash, I do 1 or 2 things in the house, so by 1 I'll be ready, then she can bring her. So that was the agreement. So I feed my child milk in the morning around 8, and then she came to pick her. Before she came to pick her, I packed, you know, those baby food in the bottle, those organic one. That's what my children eat. So I packed like 3 of that. I have other baby food, I have formula, the bottle, flask with hot water, and my daughter just had milk. So I was expecting that by the time she take her, maybe, because that was around 8, so by around 9 going towards 10, if she didn't sleep, she'll feed her maybe another milk with a ground rice inside, so she'll drink. Maybe around 10:30, 11, she'll make the food and give it to her, because that's how I normally feed my child. And I explained to her, and she knows. So she took her, and then after 1 o'clock, I called her. I said, oh, I'm ready now, you can bring her. She brought my daughter. She brought my daughter. You cannot believe that this woman did not feed my child since that 8 o'clock. That milk I've given my child have not eaten anything till that 1. And this one really, really hurts me, because she used to do it anytime my baby is with her. She doesn't feed her. She'll be saying, oh, she's sleeping, oh, she's sleeping, and I don't complain, because I know that maybe it's only 2 hours, my daughter is there for 1 hour, so I don't really complain much. But this one, from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, for 5 hours, my child did not eat anything apart from the milk I gave her in the morning. So when she brought her, I still see in fact, when I saw my daughter, I knew that this child is hungry. My daughter looked so, you know, when you have baby and they look so hungry, the way they look, they just like my daughter was, in fact, her eyes was like, somehow she was so hungry. Then I said, okay, what time did you feed her last? She said, oh, I've not fed her. I said, what? For the past 5 hours you've not fed this child? She said, yes, because she's been sleeping. I said, what? And I know my child, it's not possible that she'll be that sleeping. I don't know what this woman does. I don't know whether she doesn't want to do her job. My daughter was so hungry, and that was the last time I said, my child is not going there again, because it's not the first time she'll do it. It's not like that's the first time, so why can't I give her another child? That is what she normally does. And because my daughter only go there for 1 hour, even though I pay her ×3, if I'm not doing anything, there's no point of my child being in somebody else's house. It's just because I'm going somewhere, the weather is too cold, or those days it snows a lot. Maybe it's snowing or it's raining, and I don't want to take her. I would rather take because I can't afford to put 2 of them there. So I always take my toddler. So my toddler will sit in the buggy. I'll use the rain this thing and cover her. We'll go wherever I want to go. Me, I hold umbrella, or I get wet, so I don't care. So sometimes 1 hour I'm picking my child, even though she haven't feed her, I don't have problem. I say, okay, since it's only 1 hour, I just take my eyes off it. But this one is good 5 hours. She did not feed my child. She did not feed her. Her nappy was soakly wet. I don't know, she said she changed it. I cannot remember the nappy one much, but her nappy was soaked. It was, you know, Pampers, it was really soaked. But the one I focused on more was the food. And I'm like, what? You didn't feed her? She said she's been sleeping. And I know my child can't be sleeping for that 5 hours without not wake up and eat, because my baby have a routine. By 8, before 8, she have milk. By 9:30, 10, she have another milk, which I'll put ground rice to make it a bit thick for her, because she eats a lot. When she have really milk, she's hungry again, so I make the milk not too thick, just a bit thicker. She drink. Around 11:30, I give her baby food, you know, that because she's 4 months going to 5 months. So age of 4 months, they start baby food. So you know those ones that they write 4 months plus, that's when I feed her. My child did not eat. I just say bye bye. So now when I started feeding my child, normally, because if it happened that she fed her the way she's meant to feed her, the small bottle food ready made, normally my daughter will have one. Sometimes she won't even finish. She will have a little tiny, maybe like 4 or 5 spoons left that she will not eat again. But that day I fed her, she finished it. I gave her another one, she finished it, and she was still hungry. And I went to make milk, I gave her, and she ate. She have a big bulb, and she was now relaxed. My child now come back to her life, to her normal self, because my daughter was like this. She was so hungry. So I don't know, maybe she doesn't feed her, or maybe she doesn't like feeding babies. I don't know, because why won't you feed her? And this is not the first time, this is not the second time, but this one was too much. I just say, well, I started looking for how to get the double buggy. So one day I went to our GP. She went to go and take, I think it was an injection or something. So I saw this woman, and she have like just the same age as my kids, and I saw she have buggy. Her baby sitting at the back, her toddler is sitting at the front. I asked her, oh, where did you buy this? Oh, this buggy. She told me she buy it in the Wembley market. I don't know how many of you know Wembley market. So I said, wow. She said the market is always on a Saturday. So on a no, she said the market is always on a Sunday. So thank God on Sunday my husband is always home. So I told my husband drove me there, because my husband drive then. It's only me, I don't know how to drive here. So we went there and I got it. So my daughter will sit down, the baby will sit down, and anywhere I'm going. So when I go shopping and it's raining or the weather is not good, I'll just call cab, and the cab will come. I'll fold their buggy, put the shopping, my daughter will sit down, I'll put the seatbelt, I'll carry my baby, the cab will bring us. Then we live in a flat, so the man will drop everything. Sometimes the man is nice, will bring everything up for me, because we live in the 2nd floor. So that is my story with register minder. That is one of them. So with all that experience, I'm like, does it really even worth it for me to be taking? I'm not saying all the minder. I know some minder, they are registered, they are very, very good. But me, the one I came across, they are not good for me. They are not. I don't know whether they are good for somebody else. Maybe it's just me, I'm unlucky, I don't know. But register minder is not what you think. So my advice is, if you want to, before you start work, because you are taking your child, me, I was lucky, I wasn't working then. When I started work, after my daughter was 9 months, I started work. I take her to nursery straight away. Nursery. I didn't even look for any minder. But let's say that minder would have been good. I like her. I'm sure 100% that my daughter will be going to her, you know. But because of, so if you are going to, before you know that, oh, you're starting work, make sure your child is going to that minder, and make sure you look around, you see that, oh, she's feeding your child is happy, she's feeding your child, she's following your child routine, how you normally feed your child, that is explained to her, she's feeding your child the right time, she's changing the nappy the right time, your child is happy before you now start work. Don't want to start work today and then your baby is starting the minder place today. No, make sure your child have started 1 week or 2 weeks. Maybe if you are working 3 times a week, you don't have to take her that 3 times. You can take her once a week for that 2 weeks, just to see, or make sure if at least 3 times, just to make sure that your child settles. you know, she's doing everything she's meant to do before you start work, so that you can have peace of mind. Because let's say I was going to work, because I know a mom that went back to work after 1 month giving birth. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, seriously? She said, I need to start work. I don't know her story, but that's what she said. Like, I'm like, wow. So, but a child was in the nursery. It's not like she looked for mine. And I know there are some people like that. So, because let's say I started work, so that means I'll come back and my child won't be, oh Jesus, I didn't want to go there. So that's why I'm just here to share with you guys. Always make sure you get the right nanny, and make sure they know your child know them in advance. You know they are doing what you want them to do with your child. They are feeding them the right time, they are changing their nappy the right time, and you are happy before you settle to work. Make sure your child will settle wherever your child will be while you start work. Okay, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you all. Bye.